Coming up on Valley View News, people of different cultures came together to rally against Asian hate. Plus, the nation is facing a blood shortage. And beach volleyball gained popularity due to social distancing.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Savannah Birchfield.
And I'm Lisette Ceja in the Digital Media Center. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted on all charges for the death of George Floyd. He faces up to 40 years in prison for second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. Hundreds gathered outside the courtroom celebrating the jury's decision. President Joe Biden says the verdict is a step towards racial justice.
Nothing can ever bring their brother, their father back. But this can be a giant step forward in the march toward justice in America.
Prosecutors will now turn their attention to the other 3 officers involved in the arrest.
This week, the Los Angeles Public Health Department reported 466 new COVID-19 cases and 3 deaths. The positivity rate in Los Angeles County is under 1%. Officials say they're encouraged by the decline in cases. Vaccinations are largely believed to be responsible for the drop. People should still wear masks in public and practice social distancing because officials say there are new variants of the virus still being transmitted. They also say only 470 people are hospitalized due to complications from COVID-19.
Some experts warn that people refusing to get vaccinated will increase the danger of COVID-19 variants spreading. The White House Chief Officer Dr. Anthony Fauci says about 70 to 85% of the population needs immunity before the virus is under control.
The vaccine might not completely protect against it, but it almost certainly, at least in our current experience, protects against very severe disease, death particularly.
A Quinnipiac University poll shows that 36% of adults over age 35 don't plan to get vaccinated.
The U.S. will likely resume using the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine soon. Dr. Fauci says a decision on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine could come this week.
But I would imagine that what we will see is that it would come back, and it would come back in some sort of either warning or restriction. Again, I don't know. I don't want to be ahead of them, but I keep getting asked that. I do think we will get it back in some manner or form. But what I'm sure, I hope, that we don't see anything extended beyond Friday.
Use of the J&J vaccine was suspended after evidence indicated it could cause blood clots. Only 6 cases of blood clots were reported out of the 7 million J&J shots that were given. All 6 cases were women between the ages of 18 and 48. 1 person died.
LAUSD schools are uniformly reopening. At Warner Avenue Elementary in Westwood, about 95% of the students were back on campus, while in the communities of Southgate, East Los Angeles, Pico Union, and Bell, only about 25% of students are expected to return. Students are required to test negative a week prior to returning to campus.
After 6 Asian women were murdered in an Atlanta shooting, rallies supporting the Asian community took place across the country. Valley View News reporter Gina Wong went to a rally where people were urged to speak up against hate crimes involving Asians.
Hashtag show Asians love. I like that.
People of different ages and cultures rallied in the Walnut City Hall parking lot in solidarity with the Asian community. The gathering follows the tragedy in Atlanta where 6 Asian women were murdered. Emotions are high and there's still lots of fear in the Asian community. Danny Espinosa thinks the Atlanta shootings were fueled by the hypersexualization of Asian women. She wants to put a stop to that. She says that attitude is leading to violence and death for some Asian American women.
Racist white men who deem Asian women submissive and passive, I think that needs to end, and it needs to end now.
Rhonda Hampton thinks she knows why some people from other races aren't stepping forward to support the Asian community. As an African-American woman, she was once afraid to speak out too, but not anymore.
We were taught to be divisive, and we were taught to be segregated, and we were taught not to stand up for one another.
Organizer Naomi Morel said it's going to take a lot of love and understanding to fight hate, but also, most importantly, the community must speak out against attacks on Asians.
I think that the louder we get, the stronger we are together. The louder we are, the less empowered people feel to attack us.
According to the website Stop AAPI Hate, 76% of all related Asian hate crimes have been verbal harassment. Reporting in Walnut for Valley View News, I'm Gina Wong.
Use of force expert Barry Broad had pig's blood smeared on his former home in California after he testified in defense of Derek Chauvin. Broad said that Chauvin didn't use deadly force and was acting with objective reasonableness. Santa Rosa police responded to a report of a pig's head thrown towards Broad's former residence. Pig's blood was also smeared on the front of the home. The vandals were dressed in all black. Broad no longer resides in Santa Rosa. Another family now lives in his former home.
The pandemic is threatening the nation's blood supply. Our reporter, Johan Lewis, spoke with the American Red Cross about it.
The demand for local blood is always high, but in the pandemic, the need for blood increased even more. At the same time, the nation's blood supply is facing a shortage. The American Red Cross says it's doing everything it can to help.
So the pandemic changed everything. We always need a steady supply of blood. It's one of the things that cannot be created, it can't be made, it only comes from humans.
Mohudeen says they're in need of O negative and O positive blood type. Also, blood from recovered COVID patients is needed. However, everyone is encouraged to make an appointment to give blood. Jill Lasker is a returning blood donor.
I'm O negative, and I got many texts and emails from Red Cross saying that they need blood.
Blood donation sites follow strict COVID-19 safety measures. Masks are required and temperatures are checked at the door.
Temperature is normal.
Though social distancing means there are less beds for people to give blood.
It's been scary, I know, and I'm so thankful to the people who, besides all of that fear and anxiety, still came out, especially during the early months of the pandemic.
The American Red Cross is hosting blood drives throughout LA County. People can sign up to donate online or through the Blood Donor app. Reporting in Burbank for Valley View News, I'm Jahan Lewis.
Several protesters in Raleigh, North Carolina were taken into custody after authorities declared a police brutality demonstration an unlawful assembly. For 3 nights in a row, people marched through downtown Raleigh. They were protesting the police killings of 20-year-old Dante Wright in Minnesota and 13-year-old Adam Toledo in Chicago. About 100 people marched and chanted, "No justice, no peace, abolish the police." Reporters on the scene said 7 people were taken into custody.
Last weekend, thousands gathered in Chicago's Little Village area demanding justice for 13-year-old Adam Toledo. The teen was shot and killed by a Chicago police officer. Toledo's encounter with the police was captured on body camera footage. It sparked large protests across Chicago. The officer reported seeing a gun in Toledo's hand at one point. The video shows the teenager raising his hands before being shot in the chest. This is the second demonstration against the Chicago Police Department since the release of the video.
Nationwide school closures forced teachers to become more creative about their instruction. One teacher created a school on wheels for her students. Valley View News reporter Chloe Hooper takes us inside the bus to see what it looks like.
March 29, 2021.
When the pandemic hit and schools closed, teacher Jerry Mello wanted a safe and fun learning environment for her small class of students. So she created a school on wheels,
where everyone felt safe and invited and they felt like home again.
Mello teaches on a decked-out school bus in Santa Clarita. It mocks a typical classroom.
A really sweet lady from Ohio, she does classroom makeovers. She decorated it, painted from the inside and out, and that was in February, and it's been amazing ever since.
Jerry says she likes teaching this way better than teaching in a traditional classroom.
I don't think parents really grasp the idea of me teaching on a bus. As soon as they saw it, they were like, this is perfect, this is for us, and we feel comfortable and safe for the first time in a long time.
Mello says she tries to keep the classroom environment diverse. She uses books that every student can relate to. She wants her students to learn about their own culture and other cultures as well.
On Wednesday, okay?
Students of all ages have struggled with virtual learning. Teacher Dailyn Mello strives to keep her students actively learning in a safe environment. I'm Chloe Hooper for Valley View News.
More to come on Valley View News. San Diego residents are staying active by playing volleyball. And despite the dangers of gymnastics, parents believe in its ability to teach valuable lessons. Stay with us.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Now, let's go to Leslie Gama in Studio B with updates on what's happening around the world.
Australia lifted its travel restrictions with New Zealand. The Auckland airport had tearful reunions after the year-long ban on travel was lifted. Thousands of passengers were booked to fly between the two nations on Monday. Both countries have managed to contain their COVID-19 outbreaks. They also kept infection rates low, largely due to tight restrictions. The two countries now operate under a travel bubble. To fly under the bubble's rules, passengers must have quarantined 14 days before departure in either Australia or New Zealand. Alexei Navalny, prominent critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, is continuing his hunger strike. He was arrested on old embezzlement charges in February. Human rights campaigners say the Russian jail that Navalny is being held at is known for its harsh living conditions. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says that Russia will be faced with consequences if Navalny dies from a lack of proper medical attention.
We have communicated to the Russian government that what happens to Mr. Navalny in their custody is their responsibility, and they will be held accountable by the international community.
The United Kingdom, France, Germany, and the European Union have also expressed their concerns over Navalny's treatment. The first super typhoon of the season made a close approach to eastern Philippines last weekend. Monday morning, Surigay's maximum wind speeds decreased. The typhoon is equal to a Category 4 Atlantic hurricane. The current track has Surigay slowly weakening. It'll move parallel to the central and eastern Philippines. Heavy rainfall is expected. There should be flooding, flash floods, and rain-induced landslides. The typhoon remains offshore. However, it'll be monitored as it slowly moves to the north and northwest. A fire broke out last week in Cape Town's Table Mountain National Park. The fire damaged 9 buildings. Hikers at the South African landmark were evacuated. 200 firefighters fought the massive blaze. 2 of them were injured and sent to the hospital. 4 helicopters were also used. Premier of the Western Cape provincial government, Alan Wind, said it was a wind-fueled fire.
The wind came up in the middle of the night, and really what we thought we'd had under control by yesterday evening was flared up during the night.
According to the National Park's Twitter account, the fire created its own wind, causing it to spread faster. Toronto, Canada's most populous province, is facing a third wave of COVID-19. More than 408,000 new cases were reported last Friday. The Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he's working with other provinces and territories to send more healthcare workers to Ontario. Trudeau thanked the frontline healthcare workers for their hard work.
To the healthcare workers who are relentlessly fighting this virus, thank you. I know you're exhausted, and that hasn't stopped you from working harder than ever before.
8 million Canadians have received their first COVID-19 shot. Canada will have 48 million COVID-19 vaccine doses by the end of June and more than 100 million by the end of September. I'm Leslie Gama reporting from Studio B. Back to you, Savannah.
The growing need for people to engage in physical interaction is essential in the post-pandemic era. Beach volleyball offers an opportunity for people to play together. Valley View reporter Abdin Mohammadi has more on the story.
San Diego is popular for many outdoor sport activities. Live a beach camp volleyball is now part of the growing enthusiasm for sport-based fans in the city.
We primarily run drop-in group clinics. We also do some smaller group programs. We have intermediate level as well, so people that come to the beginner, they go to the next level and they focus more on the training.
Environment plays a role in allowing local people to participate in outdoor sports. It lets people engage in healthy, interactive activities. Significantly, Pacific Beach is a prime example of where people can interact with outdoor topics.
We have beaches everywhere. It's sunny here all the time, and then eventually you come out and have it be part of your day-to-day life. It's a lifestyle here in San Diego.
The camp helps with academic skills and shapes competitive attitudes. It also bolsters a positive vision of communication strength.
1, 2, 3. Coaching, teaching, giving positive feedback. Also, you're learning a skill, your conditioning drill, where you're bumping, you're setting, and you're hitting, and you're communicating.
Beach camp volleyball is an energizing outdoor sport activity. It illustrates that San Diego is a great platform to experience inspirational outdoor projects. Reporting for Valley View News, Abdin Mohammadi.
A Chilean government study says the Sinovac vaccine is 80% effective in preventing death from COVID-19. Sinovac is also 89% effective in preventing people from entering intensive care units. The Chilean Health Ministry study followed 10.5 million citizens enrolled in the country's public health system. The study included people who got 1, 2, and no doses of Sinovac vaccine. Results were obtained 14 days after the vaccine is made by a controversial Chinese company. Data from Brazil showed it was only 50% effective. Sinovac says the low efficacy results in Brazil were due to a shorter interval of 14 days between the vaccine's 2 doses.
NASA's small robotic helicopter made history on Monday as the first machine from Earth to fly on another planet. The robotic helicopter is called Ingenuity. The goal is to study Mars's atmosphere. Since the planet has thin air, NASA engineers had to work around having no wind to push the small helicopter upwards. The engineers used light materials, fast spinning blades, and a high-powered computer to get Ingenuity off the ground. Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, Dr. Thomas Zerbukin, said this allows more exploration of the planet's surface.
We can now fly into craters, for example, explore their walls where we know that water is seeping out, or at least we believe, and we've never really observed them up close.
The robotic helicopter hovered at 10 feet for 30 seconds before crashing. During testing, NASA's communication system was temporarily down, leaving the team unaware of the crash. They did not realize until 3 hours later when another Mars spacecraft passed overhead and gathered the data. Ingenuity offers NASA a new way to gather more information about the solar system.
Gymnastics is known to be very competitive and a dangerous sport. Our reporter Jordan Henry spoke with the owner of Paramount Elite Gymnastics to see how he prepares his gymnasts for success.
Gymnastics is one of the more dangerous sports. Gymnasts defy gravity with their skills. The owner of Paramount Elite Gymnastics says he was introduced to gymnastics when he was a little boy in China.
Need to open a gym because I have my a gymnastic philosophy, and I feel like I can produce a good gymnast.
There are 4 major events in the sport: bars, beam, vault, and floor. And these events prove to be very difficult, and many injuries result from them.
Trying a skill for the first time that you haven't done. Although we do prepare a lot before going for the skills, it's definitely still always a little nerve-wracking when you do it for the first time.
Some parents say they put their daughters in gymnastics because it teaches them a lot of life lessons, like working hard and being committed. They learn to set goals and reach them regardless of how dangerous it might be.
Nervous whenever I watch her compete, and I live in fear watching her on the beam, afraid she'll fall off, but at the same time I know their coaches have their safety in mind.
Many gymnasts here at Paramount Gymnastics have gotten scholarships to the colleges of their dreams, and the owner plans on making that goal higher once COVID restrictions allow for more members. For Valley View News, I'm Jordan Henry.
After the break, why the Lakers are missing their visit to the White House. Also, high school cheerleading is back. How a San Diego cheer team feels about returning. Stay with us.
When you're running your own business and taking care of your disabled brother, you tend to learn about responsibility pretty quickly.
The Los Angeles Lakers will miss the team's White House visit later this month due to COVID-19 and scheduling issues. The team was set to meet President Joe Biden after next week's game with the Wizards. Traditionally, the NBA championship team visits the White House, but that hasn't happened since 2016. A future meet and greet with the president has not been ruled out.
The well-known actor Felix Silla died on Friday. He was 84 years old. Silla was most famously known for his role Cousin It on the 1960s television series The Addams Family. He also portrayed an Ewok in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. He also did stunt work for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, E.T., The Extraterrestrial, and Poltergeist. His manager Timothy Beale says Silla passed away after a battle with pancreatic cancer.
Google Earth can now visualize the effects of climate change on the globe. The new feature Timelapse allows users to click through decades of images. The feature compiles 24 million satellite photos taken from 1984 to 2020. Google partnered with NASA, the U.S. Geological Survey's Landsat program, and several international programs to develop the technology. Google says it hopes government officials, researchers, and journalists will take advantage of this feature to identify how Earth changes over the years.
When high school sports got the go-ahead to start again, cheerleading wasn't included. Now teams are able to practice outdoors. Reporter Ayana Apollon-Kettles shows how one San Diego cheer team feels about the new guidelines.
When California permitted sports to compete again, cheerleaders weren't included. That changed though. Michaela Strange, the cheer coach at San Diego's Mount Miguel High School, says the State Department of Public Health reversed its ban on cheerleaders at sporting events.
They did a breakdown of what sports can and can't be back, and cheer unfortunately was down in the yellow. But cheer is a non-contact sport, and we're outside and we're able to be 6 feet apart, so they gave us the go-ahead.
But to cheer now, the team must follow CDC rules, like wearing a mask while cheering. Senior Angelina Padilla doesn't mind wearing a mask.
I didn't think we were going to be able to have a season, so to know I was going to get my last season, I was really, really happy.
At first, when cheerleaders couldn't do games, senior Camilla Russell says she was nervous.
This would have been the last time I get to be with my girls, so I was really taking a lot of that stuff into consideration, wow, I really might not have to have those Friday night lights with my girls anymore.
Back when other sports could play, but cheerleaders couldn't cheer, a lot of seniors on the squad were hurt.
It upset me because we're not a contact sport like football players and some other sports, and I didn't get why we couldn't come back and people that are hitting each other and touching each other could.
Our job as cheerleaders is to be the spirit of our school and to cheer on other sports, and then to hear that those sports that we cheer for and we here for, we're able to go back and continue, but not us, kind of hit me a different way.
The team cheers in multiple sports, and because of that, they are hopeful to have the feel of a full season, despite getting a late start. Reporting from San Diego for Valley View News, I'm Ayana Apollon-Kettles.
12 European soccer clubs announced on Sunday they're forming their own breakaway competition called Super League. The announcement received criticism from fans, saying the founding members are only doing this for profit. 6 English clubs, 3 teams from Italy, and 3 from Spain are set to participate. Martin Buhager, a board member for the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, says he's frustrated that fans were not a part of the decision process.
We feel very let down. We feel betrayed that a plan like this could be hatched without any consultation whatsoever with supporters, probably because they knew this would be the reaction.
The president of the Union of European Football Association says clubs who participate in the Super League could be banned from this year's European Championship and next year's World Cup.
The value of Bitcoin dropped 14% this weekend. The cryptocurrency went from $59,000 to $51,000 in less than an hour. While the company hasn't confirmed the reason, many speculate it's due to an unconfirmed Twitter rumor saying the U.S. Treasury wanted to crack down on money laundering schemes. Other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Dogecoin also went through the same drastic downfall. The value of cryptocurrency is already starting to recover. Bitcoin is back up to $55,000.
The first Yeezy sneakers ever worn in public by Kanye West are going on sale for more than $1 million. Kanye first wore these shoes during the 2008 Grammy Awards. This pair of Nike Air Yeezy 1 prototypes will be the most expensive shoes for sale. They'll be available after being displayed in Hong Kong later this month. The current record for most expensive shoe was a pair of autographed Nike Air Jordans worn by Michael Jordan in 1985. Those were bought for $615,000 last year.
During the start of the pandemic, people found hobbies to keep them occupied. For Kathy Garcia, that was floral arrangements. Our reporter Kimberly Lopez shares how Garcia turned this small hobby into a small business.
While in lockdown, many people had to find things to keep them occupied. For Kathy Garcia, that was floral arrangements.
And an idea came up. Let me start selling my floral bouquets and donating the full proceeds to the Black Lives Matter movement.
So she started Florals by Kathy G. As COVID-19 cases increased and the state went into lockdown, Garcia says she started to shop.
I rushed to Michael's. I bought some artificial flowers, and I started creating floral bouquets.
She posted her work on Instagram and TikTok. She started to get noticed. Singer Demi Lovato's assistant found the Instagram postings.
The person that was ordering it for her for Valentine's Day came to me with a very specific idea.
Now that places opened up, Garcia spends most of her time in the floral district. She quit both of her 2 retail jobs. She's now a full-time small business owner. Contactless delivery is how she gets most of her orders out.
I'm really grateful to say that every month I've been doubling in orders, meeting extremely new, beautiful people, and getting inspired.
The long-term goal for Kathy is to get deliveries outside of the U.S. and to other countries. Reporting from Hollywood, I'm Kimberly Lopez, Valley View News.
McDonald's is partnering with the Korean pop group BTS for a global celebrity meal. The meal includes 10 chicken McNuggets, medium fries, and a Coke. New South Korean-inspired sauces will also be available, one being sweet chili, the other being Cajun. The BTS meal will be available in the U.S. on May 26th. It will also be available in 50 other countries. That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Savannah Birchfield.
And I'm Lisette Ceja. For stories any time of day, go to our website, sundial.csun.edu. Thanks for watching.